We'll turn this over to Nitin Bhai and Pallavi ji. I'll make you the host of this. Okay, there you go. There's a question for here for Pallavi ji in the group, so you can look in that chat. Anyway, here we go. Nitin Bhai, it's all yours. Radhe Radhe. Are you there?
Yes. Thank
Radhe.
you.
Yeah.
Good,
Radhe
Pallavi.
Radhe. Good morning, good evening to all of you. Welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. Radhe Radhe, Nitin ji, over to you.
Thank you, Pallavi ji, and thank you, Prakash ji, for a wonderful topic, wonderful session on Guru. A very warm welcome to all of you. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening. Let's get started with today's session by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Let me share my screen. We'll get started. Are you able to see the screen? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
start with our opening prayers. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurudevo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe. Morning, good evening, everyone. So let's get started with today's session with our Soul Soup segment, where we are talking about, we are on the series of Science of Mind Management. So we're talking about mental afflictions of the mind, which are also called Manas Rog. So we started off with anger, which is the commander-in-chief of Maya, that we all are afflicted with to varying degrees. Then we have greed, and then we introduced the mother for both of these two yesterday, which was the desire. And how do we desire things? We desire things through our five senses. You want to touch things, you want to see things, you want to taste things, so on and so forth. So all the five senses, that is how we exercise the desire, the desire once it comes. And it is singled out as the Vedic scriptures, in all the Vedic scriptures, as the worst mental affliction, because it gives birth to anger and greed. So the relationship, the greed comes from greed comes from desire, and anger also comes from desire. So let's try to understand this thing. Now let's say there's a boy, or no, the Chandru. Okay, he developed a deep desire to eat ice cream today. Now he purchased 2 liters of chocolate chip ice cream, which is his favorite ice cream. 2 liters of bucket, he kept that, and then he whetted his appetite on the way, right? So he went and placed it in the freezer, and then he wanted to walk in the sun to work up an appetite. Like sometimes he work up an appetite. So that's what he did, so that he could enjoy the ice cream on his return. When he comes back, then he finds that there is no ice cream in the refrigerator. And he asks his wife that I had put a big bucket of ice cream there. What happened? Where did it go? So she said, my dear husband, don't you remember doctor had advised us to tone down the sugar? And he said that we should limit our sugar intake. So I simply trashed it. And then immediately as he hears that, what? You threw the ice cream? He became incensed with rage upon his wife. Immediately the anger comes. Now, what was the cause for this outburst? Now, he had created a desire that I'm going to eat ice cream. Now, the fulfillment did not happen. That desire was obstructed by his wife. And this led to the anger outburst. And anger does not come from itself. It comes from the obstruction of a desire. And we grow angry when we want our family members to concur with our views and they do not. We become angry when others refuse to follow our suggestions or instructions, or they don't resonate with our thought process. So they're obstructing something. That is why anger comes. And desire is the mother and anger is its child. Now, one person, if they say, I don't have any problem, but anger only. So if you go to the deep aspect of it, if there is an anger, there has to be a desire. And on the other side, let's say the desire is fulfilled, then what happens? So our scriptures tell us then when you fulfill a desire, it becomes a greed. Then you want more of it. So your desire does not, by fulfilling a desire, it never gets satiated. Right? Ice cream, let's say in this case, he had eaten the ice cream. You think his desire is satiated? Yeah, temporarily. It's like an itch, but it will come back again. So when you satiate a desire, you cannot satiate a desire by fulfilling it. That is what our scriptures say. So it comes back with greater intensity, and in this way, fulfillment of desire is the cause of greed. So mother of both greed and anger is desire only. So this is the relationship that we have established. We'll continue to explore it more. For now, let's move on to our Bhagavad Gita shloka for the day. We'll have maybe one more session on this one. Maybe today could be the concluding one. We'll see. So let's recite it. We'll pick up 3 hands. I'm going to recite it as well. Na datte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Okay, let's take a few hands.
Radhe Radhe, Shyamji, please go ahead.
Yes, Shyamji, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe. Na datte kaschit papam na chaiva sukritim vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muyanti jantavaha. Radhe Radhe.
Okay, thank you, Radhe Radhe. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Samji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Na datya kaschit papam na chepsu kritam vibhu ajnane navratam jnanam tenam huyanti jantavaha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, thank you, Samji. Yes, Palji, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
We can take maybe one
Yeah.
more.
Radhe Radhe, Payalji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuha ajnani navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha.
Very nice,
Radhe
Palji.
Radhe.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Yes, Pallaviji, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanena vritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha.
Thank you. Very nice. I see. Okay, well, let's take Riyaji. Please go ahead, Riyaji. Go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Riyaji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanenavritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha.
Very
Radhe
nice. Thank
Radhe.
you. Okay, Anita ji, go ahead, please. Last one, and then we get
Yes.
started.
Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
राधे राधे नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. So, I think iPhone, whoever is iPhone, is asking me to answer some questions. So iPhone, if you can come on audio and ask the question, then we can answer it. You need to come on audio or video, one of these two, because yeah, that's when I can take your question. All right, so let's get started. In this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, omnipresent God does not involve himself in the sinful or virtuous deeds of anyone. The living entities are deluded because of their inner knowledge is covered by ignorance. So let's understand this concept a little more. Does God inspire different people differently? On one hand, you see people who do, help others, help the needy, help the poor, the downtrodden, and they have philanthropic instincts. That is one kind, right? Something is inspiring them. And then, on the other hand, we have criminals, right? So I'll tell you a story about this guy. I don't know if you would have heard about it, Raman Raghav. So there were some killings that took place in the outskirts of Mumbai in 1968, long back, I think sometime in 1968. So what used to happen is people who would sleep on the pavement and in slums, they were, bludgeoned to death while they slept. It was not good, and it used to take place. Killings would take place at night, and to use the instrument that was used was a hard blunt object. And something similar had happened earlier also in 66 as well, in eastern suburbs of Mumbai, and about 19 people were killed around that time. So at that time, I think the CID inspector of Mumbai police finally, there was a massive combing operation that took place, and then they were able to successfully arrest a criminal behind all these killings, known by the name Raman Raghav. Okay, so when this guy was, he did confess to his crimes. He did admit that he had killed about 40 plus people around it. It was very bad at that time. Widespread panic was there. People would stop sleeping on the pavements or with open doors and stuff like that. But when he was brought in front of judge and he was asked why he used to do what he would do, he replied that God in my heart inspires me to kill others. Okay, that's what he would say. God in my heart would inspire me to do that. And judge got confused. A judge had apparently not read Bhagavad Gita. In this shloka, Lord Krishna is very clearly saying, I'm not responsible for your virtues or these kind of. Now, judge, when he heard that this guy, he said, he confessed to killing, and then he said, it is God who used to inspire me to do this act. Judge thought, maybe God inspires different people to do different things. That was the testimonial of that judge. Anyways, he was sentenced. But the point here is when we look at certain things, people do that, right? We see so many criminal acts, people commit heinous crimes. And then on the other hand, we have people who are very helpful. So is it that does God inspire different people differently? We'll try to understand. I mean, in this particular shloka, if you look at it, let me go back, he's very clearly saying that he does not involve in the sinful or virtuous deeds of anyone. Okay, he is simply seated within and notes down the karma, right? The free will aspect is at play here. We need to understand that. So anybody who says that God inspired me to do this activity, I mean, is not saying that. God takes control only if you have completely surrendered. Now let's look at another scenario as well, which can actually come in your mind. A lot of people have these questions as well, right? So once a tsunami happened and many innocent children had died, and the reporters, they surrounded the Pope at that time and asked, why did God do that? Children had not performed any bad activity, right? These kind of things we do see in the world as well. Then why should such small kids who are innocent and they die so young? They did not do anything wrong. Why did they have to suffer death in a natural calamity caused by material nature? Now, some of the inferences they drew was they continue to ask, is God cruel or incapable of saving good souls or ignorant that the people are suffering at that time? In other words, it meant asking if God is not omnipresent, he wasn't present when the natural calamity happened, or he's not omnipotent. That means he's not powerful enough or capable to save other people, or he's not omniscient. He does not know what goes on in different parts of the world at any given time, or he doesn't bother. People would ask these questions. So it was very difficult, or somehow Satan got away with this mischief in that territory and God could not do anything about it. So either he was not present or he did not know what is happening or was not powerful to stop Satan. Anyway, this concept of Satan is in Christian tradition. Sanatana Dharma says it's like absence of light is darkness. There's no separate entity like Satan who becomes powerful from time to time, nothing of that sort. So as a result, innocent people, especially kids, die. So this question was asked, that why does this suffering, continues in this world? People who are innocent and have not performed any bad karma in their life. And Pope had no answer to this question at that time. What could be the answer to this question? It's very difficult to make sense out of these things, right? They do happen. Tsunami can happen, anything can happen. Is it happening per God's will? Is it happening per design, part of prarabdha? Is it happening bad timing? Is it part of honi? A lot of factors are at play here. Now Jeev, our soul, is active, and whatever he is doing is being done consciously by them. So we do things consciously. We expect that whenever we do wrong, a hammer out of thin air will come out and bang on our head. Right? If something bad somebody does, immediately a hammer should come. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't happen normally. So we think, nobody witnessed the mischief and we can get away with it. This belief continues. And when Jiva doesn't realize that there is a silent witness sitting next to him in his heart, noting all the actions, which is Paramatma, who notes down everything and gives results at the appropriate time. And at that time, material nature or God appears to be cruel like tsunami. However, that is not true. There is no blame we can put on God. His laws are perfect and they take their own course. Right now, tsunami could happen. Tons of reasons are there, right? It could happen. It's kind of an earthquake. It's like this whole system that we are living in right now. It's like our body. If there's an imbalance somewhere, it will manifest in some form. And it also follows certain laws. Like there are divine laws, like law of karma, then there are material laws as well. If you do unbridled deforestation and those kind of things, what happened in Badrinath, right? Or Kedarnath rather. So those kind of things, nature has its own way to revive or heal itself. So we cannot blame God for that. I mean, he has created this and given perfect laws. Now, if you is given the body, you start abusing it, of course, your heart and your liver will give in if we continue to torture it. So those laws are there. Prakriti, material nature also has its laws. It's energized by God, but it is also following certain laws around it. So, and then it is a saying that you see this chuck, this grinding wheels. So mills of God, it says that, I want it to be, I like it to spin. Okay. So this mills of God grind slowly, but exceedingly fine. Okay, that's what they say. It may grind slowly, but it is exceedingly fine. It never does something which is out of the order. Okay, there is a method to this apparent madness that is happening. Everything is happening now. It's very difficult to say kids God. We don't know. Too many things are at play here. And regardless, this prison house of God is called Ashashwatam and Dukhalle. It was never meant to be a place of where we'll come and enjoy. It's a prison house of God for the conditioned souls who are bereft of God consciousness, who have turned their back away from God. So it was always meant to be like this. Bad timing can happen. In fact, it is said living in this world is like walking through a treacherous forest in the middle of a night. Any moment, any danger can come. Right? Or I think it's in Kathopanishad or Mundokopanishad, that story is there that, this guy who's walking through a forest, it's a twilight time or night time. And then when he's walking through the forest, then he starts, there are some ferocious animals that they start chasing him. So this guy is, of course, he takes another direction, and then he starts running in the other direction, and where there is an old witch which is saying, come, 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 embrace me. So animals on one side, witch on another side, he takes another turn, and then when he starts running, he trips over, and there's a rope. He finds himself hanging upside down by a rope, barely sticking to a branch, tied to a branch. And then when he looks down, he sees a snake. Now, to make matter more interesting, the rope that is hanging by, there are two rats that come, black and white, and they start nibbling it, right? And in the middle of that, what happens? The story is not done. Okay, the plot is going to become thicker. Now he's facing the snake. The rats are nibbling down the rope. The animals are on one side. The witch was on another side. And in between, what happens? There are a lot of honeybees. They start coming and stinging his face. Okay, and in the middle of all this, there's slight drops of honey which are falling from the tree to his on his face, and he's licking them and being very happy. Now you would say, what kind of a crazy guy is, right? No, he doesn't understand the situation, the precarious situation that this person is in, and he's happily enjoying the honey. Now, if you think that person is crazy, that crazy person is none other than us. So this forest that he's walking through is the life. This life, Ashashvatam and Dukhale that we spoke about. Anytime tsunami can come, COVID can come, war can come, blast can happen, earth, anything can happen anytime here. Okay, big algorithms are at play, and it is a dangerous place, as scriptures are saying. The animals that you are chasing is the diseases. It's just a matter of time before they'll catch up with you. Okay, you can live responsibly, healthy, do yoga, eat good food, get good sleep and all that stuff, but you can delay the inevitable. Finally one disease will catch up with you. Then on the other side, the old witch that is facing is what? Old witch who's saying, come and embrace me, is old age. It is willing to embrace you with each passing day, right? They say in Hindi that जो जाकर ना आए वो बुढ़ापा, और जो आकर ना जाए वो no, जो आकर ना जाए वो बुढ़ापा, और जो जाकर ना आए वो जवानी. So every day we are being, that witch is waiting to embrace us. Now that snake, which is, waiting to bite this guy when he's hanging upside down, is nothing but that final destination. That snake will bite, and then we have to shed this gross body. And those rats, black and white, who are nibbling away the rock, are day and night. Every day they are pushing us closer to that snake, okay, more closer to that snake. And those bees which are stinging on the face are our desires. Desires we spoke about, anger, greed. Those are the kamanas and the desire which are stinging us on our face. I want this, I need this should happen, that should happen. And in the middle of this, that little bit of thrill that we get in our life, that honey falls on us, we are enjoying it. So that is our real thing. The point here is that this is how life is meant to be. Everything, there is a method to this madness. Everything is happening for a reason. So rather than complaining about things, or trying to make sense of what's happening around us, let's just assume everything is happening for a reason and focus on our spiritual journey, because law of karma is perfect, and so are God's laws around anything and everything that is happening around. Okay. Now let's see the karma aspect of it, how these laws work. So even Dhritarashtra, he asked that, what did I do to deserve a fate of losing 100 sons? He asked that question to Krishna, and Krishna said, you know what, go back one life. So he said, I can go back one life. He had a boon to go back, see his previous life. He said, I don't see anything. He said, go back another life. He said, I don't see anything. He said, go back another life. He said, I don't see anything. He said, go back another life. He said, I can't go back more than 3 lives. So he said, you don't go back. You can't go back. I know your, previous infinite lifetimes that you have existed. So he said, 100 lifetimes back, there was a prarabdha that you had accrued, because you were a king and you were going around and you saw some tranquil swans, and you actually made them blind and killed them because you could not, sometimes it happens, right? We cannot tolerate if somebody is peaceful, so we want to disrupt their peace, and something like that happened around that time, and you made them blind actually and killed them. So that is the prarabdha which caught up with you now. He said, then why did you wait for 100 lifetimes? If that is what my prarabdha was supposed to be, he said, first you need to have enough merit to have 100 progeny. That took another 100 lifetimes or 50 lifetimes, whatever that was, and then the karma caught up with you. So God's, that's the wheels, they may run slow, but God knows exactly when to give the fruit for which karma and which lifetime. So we cannot complain bad thing happening to good people, good thing happening to bad people. Why doesn't it happen immediately? It's pointless to try to make sense of so many things that are happening in the world. On the other hand, if you look at gopis, they said they get the seat of which even Mahadev could not get, that Ras Maharas, right? Because although they are illiterate, they are ordinary village women, they learned to love God so selflessly and perfectly that God became their servant. Right? So that is also karmic thing which is working in your favor now. Why? Because you are learning or aligning your free will to the right thing now. If you learn to deepen your faith and love for God, then it will give you fruitful results. Anything other than that, binding karma, right? And there's so many things that we end up doing around that. Now, fruits can be good or bad. God says, I am the judge. Okay, give me a break. I am simply the judge. I'm not partial. I'm completely equitable, but I dispense fruit based on your actions. That is how law of karma works. Now, the relationships as well. See, law of karma can work in our favor as well. Right now, we are operating in with God with a perfect justice dispensing system. What shall we sow, so shall we reap. If we have to move from that justice based system towards a mercy based system, even in material world it can happen, right? Sometimes your employer might say, hey, I'm happy, and you get a bonus and a paycheck and a sabbatical, go enjoy. So that could be mercy. But God's mercy, how do we draw God's mercy? Right now we are playing a game with God which is perfectly justice based, okay, which is going to happen. But then say God says, I can give you an option of mercy based as well. But then for mercy also, or his kripa, in order to give his mercy, he cannot be whimsical because God is perfect. There also he follows a law. And that law is the law of surrender, Sharanagati, that we are trying to increase by enhancing our understanding of the divine principles by reading Bhagavad Gita and contemplating on this knowledge. Okay, but that also follows a law. He makes an exception to his laws, and when he makes an exception to his laws, that also follows a law. And in this case, that law is law of surrender. Okay. Now, let's look at another story just to illustrate this point. Why do we are the doers? So we say we are not the doers. This body is doing, like this Raman Raghav said, he got inspired, and some people say, I'm not doing it, this body is doing it. And then if the Prakriti is doing it, that why I'm getting entangled in karmas that the body is doing. So Krishna says, you are not the body, fair enough, you are the soul, but the body and mind, the faculties that are given to you are under your control. And you have to take responsibility for your body and mind and their karmas. Okay. So it's like this chariot. There's a story in Bhagavatam of a charioteer who was driving a king to a war. So this king was going to a war. He wanted to have victory in that war and enhance his kingdom like kings do. And one animal came under the wheels, and this deer came under the wheel. I don't know why deer would come under the wheel. Yeah, deers can come, right? If you're driving on a highway, you can see a deer. So the same thing happened, and he came and it died. Now the charioteer said, King, the karma of killing this animals is yours. The charioteer who was driving, he said, it's yours. So king says that, no, you are the charioteer, you will bear the karma of killing this animal. So charioteer said, let's ask Yamaraj. Now when Yamaraj comes, he says that who should bear the karma of killing this animal? He said that, king, you are going to fight for your glory, because the king was directing it, right? If you had won, the kingdom would have been yours. In this case, the animal got killed, the karma goes to your account. Okay, plain and simple. Yamaraj does not make it. So this is, it's a pretty complex thing, but yeah, this is how it works. Now, I don't know if charioteer was reckless or what, or he was simply following the instructions. He was probably simply following the instruction, and that is why it says that whole karma goes to him. Now, likewise, we have the chariot, body, mind, and intellect that God has given us. Kathopanishad talks about that. We have spoken about this as well. But we are sitting inside. The passenger is sitting inside, which is inspiring all of them. And that is why the karmic backlog goes to our account. And then that sense of ego, whether we increase or reduce, is also in our hands. So the karmic backlog is ours. We cannot absolve ourselves from that. It's very simple. Even though God is giving us the energy, but the backlog of karma, it gets recorded in our account only. Okay, because we are the inspirer. So the chariot, this body, the charioteer is we right now our own mind and intellect. And then the reins, the charioteer is the intellect, the reins is the mind, and the horses are the senses. So right now horses are having a free run. Wherever each sense wants to go, it's running in that direction. Reins and charioteer are following it. And the soul is the passenger, which is asleep. Spirituality is about awakening that soul so that it starts taking control and inspiring its intellect, mind, and senses in the right direction. That is what spirituality is all about. Until that happens, of course, we have to take the brunt of all the deeds that we do if they are, not perfect karmas. So with that said, let's move on to the segment where I wanted to have a bit of a discussion here. So this guy is thinking something. What is it thinking? Okay. If God manifested in front of you, what would you ask God? Can somebody tell me? I mean, if God manifests, what are you going to ask them? Immediately, what are you going to ask them? Let's say he said, okay, 5 seconds, otherwise time out. What are you going to ask them? You better be prepared, okay, if your God comes. Let's hear. Yes, Abhinav? You raised the hand, so we'll go in that order.
Yeah,
I'll
please
say,
go ahead. Radhe Radhe, Abhinav ji.
yeah,
Please go ahead.
Radha Palavi, Radha Radha, anything, Radha Radha. Everything. I'll say liberation from this world.
You'll mark liberation? Oh my God.
I mean, I don't want to come into this cycle of birth and death again. So,
Okay. All right. I think you need to attend few more sessions to say liberation is not a good goal. Okay. We can go even further. All right. Immediately you'll ask for liberation. Okay. Then the deal is done. So you'll miss out on something. I'll tell you what you'll miss out on if you have already asked for liberation. God will say Tathastu. Okay. So you get liberation. Says Keshevji, what are you going to ask?
Yes, Radhe Radhe Keshav ji.
Radhe Radhe. There is a conflict, and that is between you and me.
Okay.
Your understanding and my take from Bhagavad Gita.
Hmm.
Please let us keep those aside.
Okay.
I know it is the liberation of not me, but of the God Himself, Satchidanand. He is bound in this world, in my case, because of my desires. So I don't want to have no more. And as you remember yesterday, I said, Hanuman ji, जिसने हनन कर दिया अपने मान का, and I have done hanan of all my desires. No more desires, zero. And I know my understanding is Satchidanand is here because of my desires. And I don't want to have now in this life no more additional desire, because previous desires, as you mentioned about Dhritarashtra, and I have read about Bhisham Pitamaji, these 125 earlier lives, he killed a snake and threw it on the berry kaped, and then that's why he was in that, on the Tiron ki Chaiya. So from that perspective, no more desire in life, because my previous karma's desires, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keshevji. Thank you very much. Yes, Shri Ramya.
Please go ahead, Sri Ramya ji.
And what is the best? Okay, I have missed out what is the best thing to ask from God? Okay, Prahlad asked something, Dhruv asked something. We'll get into that. And why would that be the best thing? Let's try to understand. This is a very important question to understand, because that could set the tone for how we want to approach spirituality. Right? That could be the fundamental building blocks, could pave the way for that. Yes, Shri Ramya?
Well, I haven't met God, but I have met Swamiji. And before meeting Swamiji, I had a list of things to ask: doubts, questions, queries, desires, everything. But the moment I saw Swamiji, that time I just blanked out. For every question which I had, it was not popping up in my head. And even when a question used to pop up, I immediately used to have a flash of memory where Swamiji had already answered that. Then I used to think, oh yeah, this was already clarified. This was in this lecture, this Swamiji already told. And I even forgot. So I would think that I would ask this, I would ask that when I meet God or when I met Swamiji. But when the actual moment came, when I met Swamiji, I don't know what happened, but I just blank out and I look at him. Maybe same thing will happen if I meet Krishna also. I might have all the desires, but maybe the moment I see him, I might forget and everything. Maybe I would cry. But this is my experience when I met Swamiji.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people. They blank out for sure. So that's why the good strategy is to take notes and keep that handy. You know, what are the different things you want to ask? It can happen to a lot of people. Yeah, but you will time out. Huh? God will say, okay, thank you very much. Now I have to go back because there are other people waiting for me. But yeah, what will be the good thing to ask? Let's move on and hear from them, because this is a very important question to talk about. And I thought today we'll talk about this one. Yes, yes. Rahul, you wanted to add
A lot of people in chat, they are putting in with messages. Someone is saying bhakti, someone surrender. I'll keep reading time to time. So let's take
please do. Please
Yes.
do.
Rahul ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah,
There
and
is
if
a beautiful.
since if when we open up chat, if there is any unscrupulous element here which might start posting things, we have an element, then please feel free to expel them. And if they ask some question, I would encourage them to come on video or audio and do that. Okay, we have seen whenever we open up chat, somebody comes and just creates some starts putting
Yeah,
comments.
any random messages I'm not going to read.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, please do. Yes, Rahul, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. There is a beautiful bhajan from Maharaj Ji. Nit seva mangu, shama sham teri. So yeah, I think seva. That's it.
No, that's a good question. Now, why would you ask that is the big question. Why would you ask that, right? Why not liberation in that case, right? A lot of people, they say liberation is the goal, get out of the cycle of birth and death. You are saying seva mangu. I mean, what are you going to do with seva?
Because all these, this liberation and everything is subset of that. If you want to say aviral bhakti or that premanand, so that
Aviral
liberation is already subset of that. So no need of asking that.
Yeah, yeah. Liberation is like somebody's asking, remove my poverty. And Premanand is like, we'll get into that. I wanted to have a bit of philosophy discussed today. Premanand is like somebody saying, make me a billionaire. Poverty will automatically be taken care of, right? So it's like removing poverty, remove my misery, or make me happy. If you become happy, then you're automatically, your misery is removed. Good. Manoranjan ji, you wanted to say something, and Shashi ji has raised as well. We'll hear from. Let's hear maybe a minute each, real quick, and then I'll get to why, because there's a reason for that as well, right? Why would we ask for seva or something else other than liberation? Manoranjan ji, you wanted to say something? 1 minute.
Please go ahead, Radhe Radhe.
मांगे मोती मिले
Bin
मांगे मिले ना भीख कह कबीर ऐसे फिरो यही सतगुरु की सीख
Thank you, Manoranjan ji. I hope you're doing fine. I mean, it seemed like you're in a war zone right now, but yeah. बिन मांगे मिले मोती मांगे मिले ना भीख यही है लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी सीख. That is how it works.
Yes.
Very true. But this is a good one. Just hold on to that because Prahlad did something similar. When God manifested, Prahlad did something similar to God as well. Yes, Shashi ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Komal ji has also mentioned the same thing in chat that we should not ask anything. But if I have 5 seconds, I can't think of something else.
Yeah, not 5 seconds, okay. I just created a time pressure like Kahoot for you, but you'll have time, of course. God will give us time, right? Yes, Shashi ji, go ahead.
Shashi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji. I would also like to ask God his nit seva. That way, I have his association all the time. And then I don't have to worry. I enjoy his pastimes. And I'm already liberated, So whatever he wants, I would do for him happily, for his happiness. That's what I would like to do.
Beautiful. Very nice. Thank you, Shashi ji.
Yeah,
Yes, Sandhya.
Monica ji has mentioned Prem Sudhade.
Prem Sudhade. That's a good one. Yes, Sandhya, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji, please go ahead. Wait a second.
Okay, Kumar ji. In the
Yes,
meantime,
I'm able to.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, so I would ask God to make me fall in love with him.
You will ask God to make you fall in love with him. That'll be awesome. Huh? Okay. Okay.
So you make you fall in love with him. Okay.
Yes. If
Yeah,
that happens, everything is solved.
My answer, I am going to ask God to make so that he can fall in love with me also. It will be two-sided.
He always loves us. It's just us who are unable to recognize that, right?
Correct.
No, that's a good one. If you do that, then everything else, God is Bhaktavashya, right? Even beyond Bhaktavatsal is Bhaktavashya. He becomes enslaved by his devotees, but for that, you have to first prove that you're willing to be his slave, right? And that can only happen when you are in love with God. Good one, Sandhya. Let's hear from Kumarji, and then we'll come to Pratyusha and Swati ji, and then I'll go into a little bit of philosophy around this as well, so that we
Yes.
understand why.
Yeah.
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman, everyone. For Sandhya ji, the answer is the secret pill, right? You have a pill so that you can fall in love with God. But I would not ask him anything. Just grab his feet and not let go. That's it. Why ask? Just grab his feet, not let go. I think it kind of answers everything. But in case God says, no, you still have to ask something. For me at this time, this world is dukale mashashvata, right? So why come and once again get into this world? I would just tell him, please take me with you. I'll be forever your project manager, because I have started liking project management. I'll just be there, do all your projects. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Thank you, Kumarji. That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, something similar happened with Prahlad as well. When Nursing Avatar happened, he said that, ask me something. And for a moment, Prahlad was like, he was silent. Same thing happened with Dhruv also, by the way. But then he said, nevertheless, because you are asking me to ask something and you are my master, so I have to, right? He has to obey his order. So if you are asking me to ask for something, then I may ask you that, I may not ask you anything. That's what Prahlad said. So I don't basically, he kept God in his debt even then, right? So asking is, and that's what he asked basically. Bin mange mile moti, mange mile na bhik. So when you keep God in debt, you only know what can happen, right? God becomes your siddhi, and God becomes basically enslaved to you at that point, right? But we'll get into that. Is there something if we have, like Sandhya said, make yourself fall in love with God is a great boon to ask for as well. Yes, Pratyusha, you want to add something? And we'll come to Tejas then, and then Swati ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe everyone, Radhe Radhe sir. So I was thinking that if God asked me to ask anything, I would ask to teach me to surrender. Other than that, only thing that runs in my mind right now is what I heard from Bhakti Kirtan retreat, that Teri karni, meri karni, don't do. Your karni, I will do. Whatever it is.
That
So,
is fine.
please do say that.
Yeah, what it says is, मेरी करी ना मेरी चाही ना करो मैं मूर्ख अज्ञान, तेरी चाही है प्रभु मेरा कल्याण.
Yeah, Manisha ji has also said the same thing.
Right. There's another one I know in Hindi which says that तू करता वही है जो तू चाहता है और होता वही है जो मैं चाहता हूँ. तू कर वो जो मैं चाहता हूँ, फिर होगा वही जो तू चाहता है.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, good one, Pratyusha. Tejas.
Radhe Radhe, Tejas ji, please.
I see Arya as well. You know, hear from Arya today. My God. Yes, Tejas, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone. So like if anyone of you have watched the Star Plus Mahabharat, like Krishna tells Arjuna, right? Like, there is Paramatma in everyone, and it's just that I have realized it and you have not realized it. He tells that. So if God appears in front of me, I would ask him, like, how do I realize the Paramatma in me? I think that is because he tells that as this Paramatma is there in everyone. Only thing is that I have realized it and you have not, Arjun. That's what he says. I think I would ask him how to realize that.
Got it. I think we'll get into more theory about this as well, but this is a great aspiration. It's a spiritual aspiration, what you're asked for. So very nice. Thank you. Swati ji. Thank you, Tejas. I'll build on this discussion. Swati ji and Girish, real quick, and then I can wrap it up, a few other things that I wanted to talk about. Arya seems very happy. It's good to see her. Yes, Swati ji, go ahead, please.
Yes, Radhe Radhe,
Yeah.
Swati ji.
Radhe Radhe. I would ask for the Gopi Prem. Just give me Gopi Prem. And wherever I am, it doesn't matter where I am, but that Gopi Prem, just that longing, desire, and selfless serving love for God. Thank you, Radhe.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Swati ji. I'll just quickly read a message from Pooja ji. She has mentioned, let my bhakti be flawless towards you, without any desire and greed, completely non-transactional. I will ask God God to not ask me anything as a vardhan. Let my bhakti be completely flawless towards him.
Very nice. Good one. Bhakti. Asking for bhakti is also a spiritual desire. Very nice. Girish,
And
you want to add something?
yes,
कृपा जब ही करना तब वापस नहीं जाओगे मेरे बिना otherwise मोक्षा दे दो. Okay. And then
yes,
iPhone 3
Girish.
saying I will for you. Okay, what is that? Okay, yes, Girish, go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Yeah, actually, I have a very simple thing, but I would like to ask is like, what can I do for you and for your creation?
Okay, that's interesting. You want to basically help him out in doing the creation or other things, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that I think Kumarji has already taken that job of God is might get, but yeah, this is a good one too. Okay, I think I saw another hand. Tejas, do you wanted to say something, or Pooja, you wanted to say something? Arya wants to say something.
Radha Radha Nitin Bhaiya, I actually said that on her behalf only, considering that her mind is completely blank, or I would say completely flawless. I guess this is something that she would ask Krishna if she
Got it.
happens to be Krishna.
That's a good one. Okay, so now let's get into a bit of a philosophy to see what are the things which are good to ask for, right? Um, Given the, going a little deeper into the philosophy and aligning it to, so what is the ultimate goal of soul? Why goal of a soul? See, I eat and I don't know why I have a habit of eating all that. And then let's try to understand ultimate goal of Lord. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jiver Swarup Hoye Nityer Krishner Das. So we are fragmental part of God. And what is the perfect situation for the part? To serve the whole. Every part serves the whole. So if you actually ask for Nit Seva Mangu like that Rahul was talking about, everything else will fall in your jholi. If God gives you his Seva, that is the rarest of rarest thing to get, his personal Seva. Then you have gotten moksha, you have got Paramanand, everything that you can think of. Liberation has happened, moksha has happened, you are in bliss and everything. So Seva is a good one to ask for, because end of the day, we are the eternal servants of God. And anything less than not getting his personal Seva is short selling yourself. So that would be a good thing to ask for. That is why Maharaj is creating an entire bhajan on that. So if you can get that seva, and which bhav, then we can get into the philosophy part of it. Tasya bhav, vatsalya bhav, madhurya bhav, sakha bhav, within madhurya bhav, sahachari bhav. Bhavs can continue, but if you get that personal association of God, that seva aspect of it, then everything else is subservient to it. And when you get seva of God, then you are associate of him for his eternal pastimes. Realizing, see, there are three ways you can realize God. One is you merge in his effulgence, which is a jnani would aspire for, which is liberation, where you simply merge in God. It's like honey is there, you become honey yourself. But in Dvait, now the second is you realize the Paramatma aspect of it, who is seated within. That a Ashtang Yogi would do, where you are in a Samadhi, that perpetual bliss, perpetual knowledge is always with you, right? The first case also you're getting that. And third is the most sweetest form is the Bhagwan form, when you get his personal seva in his personal abode. That is the sweetest one, because now you can relish that honey as a honeybee, and that goes on forever without any obligation to come back in this cycle, right? So if we get his seva, if we can ask for that, will be good aspiration, or his darshan, or right? So these things. So I just brought in that philosophy because our swarup is his eternal fragmental parts, and part has to serve the whole. Even in material world, we see that. It's something that is a part of something has to serve the whole. When we are working in a company, we are a part of the company. Who are we serving for? The company, right? For the shareholders. Now the water vapor, it's part of the ocean, and then finally it goes through the entire cycle of evaporation and finally comes back to the ocean. So it eventually serves the ocean only. So the part has to serve the whole. There is no other way. Now if anything less than that, it's kind of we have not realized our true potential. But if he gets his seva, everything else is covered automatically. So that is a good one to ask for. Or I may not ask anything. Now God is eternally indebted to you, or I may love you, Automatically you'll do save. All these are higher spiritual aspirations to ask for, basically. What did you ask for, Monica ji? Okay, all these letters are going to Golok, okay? So that is going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, Monica ji said Prem Sudhade.
Prem Sudha, yeah, divine love. If you ask for divine love, there's nothing more God can give. That is his topmost prize. Divine love is reserved for people who have rejected all bhukti and mukti. Liberation also they have rejected, and all the material pleasures also they have rejected. Then he gives his divine love, and then they keep on becoming more. The more selfless you are, the sweeter that divine love would be, or the quality of that quintessence of that bliss would be. So yeah, yes, Tejas, you wanted to ask something?
Please
No,
go ahead.
actually, I wanted to mention that even during the time when Krishna showed his Lord Krishna showed his Vishwarupa to Arjun, even that was for a very brief time, and he could not handle the Vishwarupa, and he told like, okay, I mean, why don't you come back to your
Four-arm,
normal, yeah,
two-arm form. Yep.
two-arm form. So, like when you told about if God appears, what would you ask? Sometimes you will be speechless. Like Arjuna himself, when he received the Gita, and after some time, even he could not handle, and like he asked Lord Krishna to come back to his human avatar.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
he showed his cosmic form, and then it was too much for him to handle.
Right.
So, but the point is hypothetical. Now, based on what you think is worthy of asking God, that is how you align your sadhana also. Right? If you want to realize Paramatma, you would do Ashtanga Yoga because you want to realize God in a localized aspect of God. So God has three forms. We'll discuss more theory about it. We have done it in previous sessions too. One is Paramatma who's seated within. You can realize God as a Paramatma, that union of soul with super soul. That is what Samadhi is. That bliss is so intoxicating, you don't want to get out of it. That is one way of realizing God. Other ways to merge into the effulgence that Gyanis do, right, which is called moksha. The third is divine love. Divine love is when you realize God as a in his personal form in different bhavs. Then you are his eternal associate, and you will basically come in his leelas and nitya leelas that will happen. You are already beyond.
Interesting.
Yeah. So these are the three aspects in which you can realize God, and the most sweetest one is called in his personal form. It is said that if you put one ocean of moksha on one side, and on the other side you dip a needle into the divine love or the prem sudha, you dip the needle and you take the needle out. So in that needle, what will happen? Just a trace would be there. It is called lovelesh. If you taste that lovelesh of divine love, you will reject that entire ocean of moksha. That is how intoxicating his personal
Nice.
divine love is how our scriptures explain us. Yeah. So yes, if we ask for any of this, his seva, divine love, these are all great aspirations to have. If you say moksha, God will be very happy. Thank God. I don't have to be enslaved by another devotee. God is like, he said, you take moksha, you take bhakti, you take mukti. Okay, I'm happy. So he's very smart, right? So if you say moksha, he'll say, thank you very much. He'll wash his hands off. Okay, let's go now. I don't have to be bhakt vashya to another one, right? So he'll give you mukti. But the trick is if you reject mukti, mukti will anyway follow you, keep rejecting it, and then you get divine love. So that's the key. So Abhinav, hopefully you're not going to end up asking for liberation anymore. Okay, that's the whole idea. Yes, Meenuji. Vinodji rather.
Radhe Radhe Vinod ji. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I resisted raising my hand, but I couldn't. I think what I would ask Bhagwan is that give me your seva like you give Hanumanji.
Nice. Is it because you are fond of jumping or something else?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Hanumanji is your favorite. Yeah, Hanumanji is like.
But
He's
I'm
an
saying
eternal
I
assistant.
don't want perfection like gopis, but give me seva like Hanumanji. So eternal servant.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Dasya bhav comes easily. That's why yesterday also I was telling that females of course have an advantage for them to practice madhurya bhav. It's easy for them. But dasya bhav comes more naturally for guys. What Swamiji was saying, when you continue to practice dasya bhav, you'll understand the best service you can render to God is in madhurya bhav. That would also lead to that, right? How you can serve somebody to the best of your ability when you are in love with them, right? And then within Madhurya Bhav also, the best service you can render to God, when you start reaching the ripened stage of Madhurya Bhav as well, is a Sahchari Bhav. Now, this is a little twisted, but Sahchari Bhav, where you are helping Radharani meet Krishna. Materially, you will not understand, but he had said that in one of the SMX, so it just got registered here. Anyways, those concepts will fall in place as well. Okay, anybody else who wanted to add or chime in on what they plan to ask God? Have they changed their mind or anything of that sort? But I'm just telling you, from a scriptural perspective, our constitutional position is that being a part of God or servant of God. And as that, like our hand is part of the body, so it has to serve the body. It's in serving the stomach, it automatically gets the nourishment that it needs. But if hand thinks I'm going to enjoy on my own, it will not be able to subsist for long. Yes, Samiran, I think you're going to add something. Go ahead, please. And then we will go to our last segment.
Please
Couple
go
of
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I just wanted to ask from the previous session that we talked about parents and children, right? So, if a parent is suffering from a child's doings, or a child is suffering from an early stage of life, so is it something that has to do with Rinanubandha, with the family, or
What was the question? The child suffering from beginning, you're saying?
we discussed in the last class, right? That
See,
parents
that's where
suffer
I'm
because
saying,
of child.
yeah, that's where it becomes difficult to see. Our scriptures don't say that if parents are suffering or if child are suffering, this all they give you a broader framework around it, right? What it says is that everything is happening for a reason. Now, if somebody's suffering and you tell them, hey, it's karma and all, it'll be like, I mean, not the right way of approaching it at that point. So we need to keep this knowledge at the back of our mind. There is a reason for everything, right? Maybe God wants us to learn certain lessons. Helen Keller, go check her out, right? She was like, she could not see, she could not hear. The point here is how do you approach something that you're already stuck with, right? I mean, if you have it, that's where right knowledge comes in handy. When you start understanding the deeper secrets or the deeper, and you start understanding the deeper knowledge around some of this stuff, then it helps us to cope up with those kind of things in a better positive frame of mind, as opposed to playing a victim card or becoming upset and despondent about the situation that is happening. Now, it's very complex to say. It could be karma, it could be something else, right? There are too many variables here at play. But the point here is, if it is happening, there is a reason for that. It's not whimsical.
So is it like the soul that has some ring on that family in from the previous life?
We
Is it
have karmic,
possible?
yeah, we do have karmic, baggage and licks, and that is why we keep on repeating. It can happen. That anything can happen. Now, see, we have lived infinite lifetime. So our entire prarabdha, if we were to accumulate it, is a vast ocean. How much can we try or put in effort to try to understand what happened and why did this happen and which lifetime is now with where the link has been established in this lifetime, in this family, in this kind of situation. It's very complex. So the best thing is, let's understand the knowledge and align our efforts towards faith and devotion to God, because at the end of the day, Krishna has said that once you perfect your surrender, I'm going to burn that ocean for you. That whole prarabdha ocean that we have accumulated over the lifetimes, that will be burnt off in one shot. So best utilization of time is, rather than trying to make sense of why something is happening, understanding there's a framework, there's a method to this madness, there is a reason for everything. So what can I do to better myself spiritually so that I get closer to the goal of life? That is a better way of approaching this, rather than trying to make sense of everything that is not making sense around us. There will be tons of things anyways. I mean, so many things that don't make sense if you look at it from right. Why does this happen? Somebody's born crippled, somebody's born blind, somebody's deprived right from the word go, somebody's born in Somalia, somebody's born in Afghanistan, lost their limb the moment, they started walking. How many things can we make sense out of, right? So, okay, with that said, anything else? It's 10 o'clock, 5 minutes for the devotional segment, where we will take the We are doing Maharajji's, this one calling me,
Yes.
Bhakti.
Bhakti Shatak
Bhakti
Dohas.
Shatak.
Yeah.
So we will pick up a verse and we'll pick up maybe 3 hands and go through that. So let's spend some time on that, and please fill out the feedback tracker with the questions that you may have. We'll continue on this list. And by the way, tomorrow we'll have the cash up segment. So we will conclude this shloka, and then I think something related to grace surrender. I don't know. Something interesting is going to get presented tomorrow. So do not miss out on
And
that.
one more quick announcement about upcoming life transformation
Challenge.
program, which is happening. Yeah. So next upcoming life transformation program is on 27th to May 3rd in Los Angeles, California. And the next one is in Seattle, which is on May 4th. So Swamiji will be in West Coast. So yeah, a great opportunity for all devotees over there.
Yep. And please check out the Bhakti app. I think this is going to be another challenge that is going to get launched there. So do check it out as well.
Yes, there is already one challenge which has started in Bhakti app, which is about on before Earth Day it started. And that is about, yeah, I don't know, it's not connecting right now. I think it is about recycling or something.
No
I'm
worries.
just
And Pallaviji and all the questions, if you get questions from somebody who's not coming or disclosing their name, just ignore the questions.
Yes. Get a food smart. The challenge is get food smart challenge. And especially it is for learning how not to waste food, how to optimize, how to cook in a better way so that you're not wasting food as well and eating well.
That is so awesome. So please do check it out. I think it's going to be a great challenge to do.
So it already started on April 9th. Please go ahead and please follow this. It is amazing challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pallaviji. Let's go ahead and
I need the co-host privilege to be able to share the screen for Bhakti Shatak.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
Sanjay.
Right, Sanjay.
Thank you. Here you go. Should I start
Yes,
or?
of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
हरि को नाम रूप गुण हरि जन नित्य निवास राधे राधे सब एक हरि रूप है सब में सबको वास राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे. The names, sorry.
Go ahead.
The names, forms, attributes, abodes, pastimes, and devotees of God are all non-different from Him. They all reside in each other and are one with Him.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, we can take 2 more hands because
Yes.
it's time.
Radhe Radhe, Riyachi. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
हरि को नाम रूप गुण हरि जन नित्य निवास राधे राधे सब एक हरि रूप है सब में सबको वास राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे. The names, forms, attributes, abodes, pastimes, and devotees of God are all non-different from Him. They all reside in each other and are one with Him. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. All right, let's take
Yes, Shyamji. Radhe
All
Radhe.
right, Shyamji.
Yeah, Radha, thank you so much. हरि को नाम रूप गुण, हरि जन नित्य निवास। राधे राधे। सब एक हरि रूप है, सब में सबको वास। राधे राधे। जय राधे कृष्ण, राधे राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे राधे राधे। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Shyamji. Payalji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
राधे राधे। हरि को नाम रूप गुण, हरि जन नित्य निवास। राधे राधे। सब एक हरि रूप है, सब में सबको वास। राधे राधे। श्री राधे कृष्ण, राधे राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे। जय श्री राधे।
Jai Shri Radhe. Very nice. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. With that, we come to the end of today's session. We will continue with our discussion, conclude the session, and then have the cash up segment as well. So thank you, everybody. Please fill out the feedback tracker if not already. And Radhe Radhe, good night, good day from my side. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Nitinji, for another awesome session. Thank you, all of you, for wonderful participation. Stay blessed. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe, everyone. Bye.